All right, in this example, or in this lesson, we are going to look at solving systems of equations that have more than two variables in them, which we haven't, I don't think, really done. Um, Here's some little rules that you can read through. You can hit pause and read and follow them. I think they will make more sense to you when we actually do an example. All right, so you can look at this. These are three equations. They happen to have three variables in them, an x, a y, and a z. So that means when we give our solution, we need to have three answers, one for x, one for y, and one for z. And so the first way we're going to learn how to do that is with what's called Gaussian elimination. Okay? Basically what you're going to do is you're going to kind of try to eliminate one variable in all three of the equations at one time. Okay? So if I look at this, you're going to kind of look at all combinations of two equations at a time. If I look at these two, it's pretty easy to get my x's to drop out, not very easy to get my y's to drop out, and it would be pretty easy to get my z's to drop out. Okay, so it looks like x's or z's would be pretty easy to do, y's not so much. Okay, now let's look at these two. It would be pretty easy to do my x's. Okay, I'm eliminating my y's. My z's would be pretty easy as well. Okay, same thing if I look at the second and the third equation. If I look at the second and the third equation, if I look at these two, now my x's aren't so great to get to drop out. But if I look at my z's are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide here that it would be easiest to get rid of my z's first, okay? And that's what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take two equations at a time. I'm going to start with these two right here, and I'm going to just work on those two, and I'm going to get rid of my z's, okay? So I'm going to leave the top equation. I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by -1. And when I multiply that bottom equation by -1, that's going to turn my z into a -c so that they will drop out. Okay, so I have -3x and I have +5y, and then that equals 14. Now if I add these two equations together, my z's drop out. Okay, and I'm just going to see what I have. So I have -2x. I have +3y when I add them, and I have 21. Okay, I've gotten rid of my z's. Notice I worked with the top two equations to get rid of my z's. Okay, now I'm going to work with just a different set of two equations. It doesn't matter which set it is, just pick two equations. Okay, I am going to choose to pick these two. I have to get rid of the same variable that I got rid of last time. So the last time I got rid of the z's, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to get rid of the z's. So in this case, if I'm looking at these two equations, I can just add them together as is. I don't need to do anything with it because if I add them together as is, my z's will drop out. Okay, so I'm going to drop my z's out. When I add those two together, I get 5x and -7y equals 17. Okay, now I've got two equations where the z's are both gone. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two equations and I am going to pretend that they're a system on their own. Okay, now you know how to do this. I have -2x and +3y equals 21. And I have 5x plus 7y equals 17. Okay, so that's just these two equations right here that I'm working with right now. I'm going to take those two equations and I'm going to get rid of a different variable. Now it can be either x or y. You've done these kinds of problems a million times, okay? It can be either x or y that you want to get rid of. I think it's a little bit easier to get rid of x here just because one's already negative and one's already positive. So I am going to multiply the top equation by 5. Okay, so when I multiply that top equation by 5, I get -10x plus 15y equals 105. Okay, I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by 2. when I multiply the bottom equation by 2, I get 10x plus 14y equals 34. Okay, now I'm going to add those equations together. And when I add 15y plus 14y, I get 29y. And when I add 105 plus 34, I get 139. Okay. Okay. Sorry, you guys. Guess what? Did you catch my mistake up here? I screwed up. Okay. Let's go up here and right here, I so apologize for this. Right here, I had multiplied this equation by -1, if you remember. And so I got -3x, and I got positive 5y, and I got -z, but I should have gotten -14, and I didn't write that -14 down, which then when I add 7 and -14, I get -7 right there. Okay, and now that screws me up down here because right here then, sorry, should have been, yeah, that should be -7, sorry, okay. Then right here should be -7. Okay, and right here, sorry, let's fix this. Right here, I have -10x, and then 5 times 3y is 15y, 5 times 7 should be -35. All right, now let's see what I did wrong here. And I also copied this. Oh my goodness, you guys, I am so sorry. Okay, this is a minus right here, and I wrote it down as positive down here, so it should be a minus. Okay, this is a -14. Oh my goodness sakes. And this was a 34. Okay, sorry. Even the teacher makes mistakes sometimes. All right, now add these two together and you get a positive y, and -35 plus 34 gives you a -1. Okay, that's what your y value is. Now you have got one variable solved. You've got y is -1. You're going to work your way back up to the top, plugging that in and finding the next variable that you can. So now, if you know the y value, you can plug that back into any equation that has just an x and a y in it without the z, and then you can figure out what x is. And then once you have x and y, you can plug it back in at the top to any one of the equations and figure out what z is. Okay? So here we go. I can put this anywhere I want. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it right there. Okay, so what I have now is I have -2x plus 3 times y, which I know is -1. So 3 times -1 is -3 equals -7. So I have -2x equals -4, and x is 2. Okay, I've got that down. I now know that x is 2. I'm going to take those two things. I know that y is -1. I know that x is 2. I'm going to plug them into any equation I want. Okay, let's plug it into this equation right here. And let's solve. So x is 2. Y is -1. I don't yet know what z is. And I get 7. If you simplify that, which I know you all can, you're going to figure out that z is 3. Okay? And then you're going to write one grand final answer that should go in alphabetical order. So my x is 2, my y is -1, and my z is 3. And that is my answer to this problem. Okay? So kind of to summarize that, again, pick any two equations, get rid of one variable. Pick two other equations, get rid of the same variable. Then you should be down to two variables. two equations that each have two of the same variables in them. Okay, set them up, get rid of one more variable, and then work your way back up to the top. Okay, so that's one way to solve these. Another way to solve these is to use inverse matrices, okay? So I'm going to tell you this. This particular system of equations happens to have four variables in them. Why they're not in alphabetical order, I don't really know, but we're going to just kind of leave them as they are, okay? So here's what you're going to do. Do you see how this top equation has an x, a y, a z, and a w in it? Okay? An x, a y, and a z, and a w. So I am going to make a matrix, and I have four different variables. I'm going to look at the coefficients of them. That's the numbers in front. So this one just happens, it's not written, but there's a 1 there. And then I have a 2 in front of the y, a 2 in front of the z, and a 1 in front of the w. And I am going to write this down so that I can keep track of what order I'm doing this in. Okay? When I go to the next equation, I have a 2 in front of the x, a 1 in front of the y, a 2 in front of the z, and I don't have a w. Okay? On the next equation, I have a 3 in front of the x, a 3 in front of the y, a 3 in front of the z, and a 2 in front of the w. On the next one, I have a 1 in front of the x, I don't have a y, a 1 in front of the z, and a 1 in front of the w. Okay, so you've got that matrix, okay? Then on the other side, this is what you're going to do. This is x, y, z, w. Okay, notice you're going down in the same order that you did. So this row right here should match with this column right here. Okay, on the other side, you're going to make a matrix that has the other side of the equal sign in it. So that's 5, 5, 12, and 1. Okay, so 5, 5, 12, and 1. Now, what you're going to do is you are going to solve for this matrix right here, okay, by simply using your calculator. So I am going to call this matrix A, okay? What I want to do is I want to multiply both sides of matrix A, or by the inverse, I should say, of matrix A, okay? If I take A times the inverse of A, so watch what happens. If I take 3 times the inverse of 3 on just a normal number, do you see how those cancel out and you get 1? Okay, that's what I'm doing. When I multiply A times its inverse, it's like getting the result of 1, the identity matrix. Okay, that would cross this whole left side out and allow me to solve for the x, y, z, and w. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my calculator to do this. Okay, so first of all, I have to enter my two matrices. This matrix, like we said, is A, and I'm going to call this matrix B. Okay, so I'm going to go to my calculator. I am going to be at the main screen. I'm just going to clear this out. Okay, I want to go to my matrix menu. I want to input some matrices, so I need to go to the edit. I'm going to put matrix A in. In this case, matrix A is a 4 by 4 matrix. Okay, and I'm just going to input that data. All right, so I've got matrix A in there. Okay, I put all the data in for matrix A. Then I'm going to go to my matrix menu again. I need to go to edit. I'm going to input my data for matrix B this time, so I'm going to select number 2. Okay, matrix B happens to be a 4 by 1 matrix since it has 4 rows and 1 column. And that went 5, 5, 12, 1. Okay, so I've got that data in. Now I want to go to the main screen where I want to calculate some stuff. And remember, what you're going to do is you're going to take the inverse of A times matrix B. Okay, so I'm on the main screen of my calculator. I'm going to take the inverse of A. So I want my calculator, I want to tell my calculator I want matrix A. Then I want to take the inverse, which is the x negative 1 button, and I want to multiply that by matrix B. Hit enter. It gives me an answer. Remember that our letters went X, Y, Z, and W. That's the way we organized our matrix. Okay, so when we go X, Y, Z, and W, that means this is X, this is Y, this is Z, this is W. So X is 3, Y is 3, Z is -2, W is 0. Okay, when you give your answer though, okay, so I'm going to just re-record this on this screen so that we've got it. So I got 3, 3, -2, 0. And again, that was X, Y, Z, and W, okay? When you give me your answer, it should be in a coordinate, and it should go in alphabetical order. Alphabetical order means the W should go first, okay? So it should go that W is 0, W, X, Y, Z, okay? If you want to label them, you certainly can so that you're not confused. But that's how it should work. Okay, I am going to make the executive decision to skip the partial fraction decomposition part. And when you get to problems that are asking you to find partial fraction decomposition in your homework, you are going to skip those too. We're going to stop right there for today. I think I have overloaded you enough. Okay.